Welcome along, fellow Dark Magician enthusiasts, to another video. Today's video is going to be the deck profile for the deck that I managed to take with me through all the way to D-level max in the rush portion of the World Championship event. It was an interesting meta to go up against. Well, actually not really interesting, it was more boring, because it's like just the same three decks over and over. It was tough, but Dark Magician got a couple new tricks, and it's pretty fun. So, I'll take you through the deck, and then give you my thoughts on what the meta felt like, and what's going to be the best for DM going forward in this current meta. So, we have the skill of Magician Shuffle. You'll need to keep in mind, if we have a look at the skill, you've got to reveal a Dark Attribute Spellcaster type monster with 1700 or more defense in your hand to your opponent. Keep that in mind. So, the first card we have is Dark Sword Magician. Very, very nice, especially in a meta where all the top decks are just summoning really big fusion monsters. Dark Sword Magician can be summoned out pretty easily. I wouldn't run more than one copy though, because you do run the risk of bricking, and Dark Sword Magician doesn't work with the skill. So if you do want to run this card, absolutely recommend making sure you have at least 6 spell cards in your deck. That way, when you do have 6 or more spell cards in your graveyard, Dark Sword Magician can't be destroyed by your opponent's effects. So it turns into a big 2500 beta that your opponent cannot get rid of, unless they kill it in battle. Which is nice. It's good. Then we have 3 copies of Dark Magician Girl, because due to the skill, and due to how DM is at the moment, we have to have 3 cards. It's quite the comparison, where in Speed Duel, you'd be running 3 DM and 1 DMG, if ever. But with DM and Rush, you have to run 3 DMG and then 1 DM, because DM's a legend card. Yeah, Dark Magician Girl, single tribute, and turns into a good beta while Dark Magician is in your graveyard. Good stuff. Then we have Seven's Road Warlock. He's a level 5 spellcaster monster, Dark Attribute, and his defense 1700. So, with Seven's Road Warlock, you can reveal Seven's Road Warlock to activate the skill. Then you can add DM or DMG from your deck or graveyard to your hand. And then you send 1 Dark Attribute Spellcaster type monster with 1700 or more defense from your hand to the graveyard. So, you could grab DM and then send Seven's Road Warlock to your graveyard, because you won't need it anymore. Now, I have not used Warlock's effect at all, which what it requires is sending a trap card from your hand to the graveyard. And trap cards right now in Duel Links are huge. Can't really afford to get rid of a trap card. But if you do activate its effect, you can add a level 7 higher Dark Attribute Spellcaster type monster from your graveyard to the hand. Then if you add Seven's Road Magician to your hand by that effect, you can add a level 6 or higher Spellcaster type monster from your graveyard to your hand. Doesn't matter what attribute it is, just Spellcaster type monster. Yeah, this is not an effect I would normally use. Seven's Road Warlock is purely here for the skill reveal, and like just boosts the consistency so much better. It's so great. I would never run more than 1. If you get your hands on Warlock, absolutely put it into your decks, because when you have 3 DMGs, Warlock, and DM in your deck, if you have a 30 card deck, like those odds, it turns into a 1 in 6 chance. So you have 1 in 6 chances to draw one of the 5 cards. And if it's a 40 card deck like mine is, it becomes a 1 in 8 chance. So it's pretty damn good. Good for consistency. It's great. Right? It's a much needed boost that we needed, and it honestly helped me a lot in the meta. It was really good. 3 copies of Light Sorcerer of Sanctity, because I love reducing my opponent's attack, or the attack of my opponent's monsters. The problem is with Light Sorcerer of Sanctity, you need to control multiple level Light Attribute Spellcaster type monsters in order to benefit from this effect. The good thing about Light Sorcerer of Sanctity though is that it can pick any monster. It doesn't matter whether it's a like a big high level monster or a low level monster. So your opponent has, a 1500 attack monster on the field. and you want Light Source of Sanctity there. You just want to beat down your opponent as much as possible and clear their field so they've got nothing. So you leave them with nothing for next turn. So what you do, you use Light Source of Sanctity, use its effect, pick the 1500 attack monster, and then you just crash Sanctity into the opponent's monster, and you get rid of them both, while you are left with big monsters after you've beaten down every other monster. It works very well. You can manage to pair 3 light attribute spellcasters, so you can have, if you have 3 of them on the field, not just Light Source Sanctity, but also Light Sorcerer, 3 light attribute spellcaster type monsters will cause an opponent's monster to have its attack reduced by 900. And if you have 3 of these guys in the field, that is 2,700 attack points you can reduce by. Nuts. I know there are other cards that do reduce attack, so you can choose to include this if you want. It works for me, it works pretty well. So I recommend this. Dark Magician's Curtain, I put this at 3 because I want to see DM as much as possible. Because I'm running a 40 card deck, I need to get the combo started. So, like, quote unquote combo. I'd need to get DM and DMG in rotation constantly. So Dark Magician's Curtain at 3 helps out a lot. 700 life points is a bit of a hefty cost though, so like you have to keep that in mind. Like if your opponent manages to beat you down, beat your life points down to like 1,000 or something, like it's very risky using Curtain's effect to find DM. So got to be careful with this effect. Then we have 3 copies of Mystic Dealer. This is just a spellcaster type version of send monster from hand to graveyard to draw a card. Mystic Dealer, good card. Good for just drawing the cards. Like, you know, you got too many spellcasters in your hand, you're not going to be able to dump your entire hand. Like, so you can draw up to 5, like, multiple cards at the start of your next turn. So Mystic Dealer can help, like, get you those essential cards that you need as well. It's good. Good stuff. Then we have 3 copies of Link Slayer, which came out in the new box. And this helps Dark Magician out a lot. During the turn you normal summon this card, you send the top card of your deck to the graveyard, and if a spellcaster type monster was sent to the graveyard by this effect, Lily Slayer can be treated as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of a dark attribute spellcaster type monster in attack position the same turn. So, if you use Lily Slayer's effect, and you got DM in hand, and you got like 2 DMGs on the board for example, if you send a spellcaster type monster to the graveyard with this effect, you can get DM out onto the field easy, 1 tribute. It's very nice. Also, Lily Slayer's effect comes in handy as well. Like, if you miss with Dark Magician's Curtain, like, oh, you can't find DM or can't find DMG, sometimes all you need to do is just normal summon Lily Slayer, use the effect, and pray that you hit DMG. It actually worked for me in a duel, and I showcased it in one of the replays. It was a very, very peak moment, and it's like, stuff like that is why Lily Slayer is really good. So, recommend running 3 copies so you can get DM onto the field so much easier. Then we have the man himself, DM. He's a legend card, so we can only run 1 copy. Heart and Soul of the deck. Then we have 3 copies of Light Sorcerer, generic 1500 beta, plus pairs of Light Sorcerer Sanctity. Good stuff. Then we have Pot of Greed. No one knows what this card does, but I know it does draw me 2 cards. They're like, if you know the memes, like, oh, no one knows what it does. Okay. Draw 2 cards, we love consistency. Consistency, good. 3 copies of Secret Order, the best limit 3 spell that DM can have. This is probably going to stay limit 3 for a very long time, but it is so good in the fact that you can special summon DM from your graveyard, like boost its attack up to 3,200 attack points, and a benefit is that it can't be destroyed by opponent's trap card effects, which has happened many times. Use Secret Order, summon DM, attack, and the opponent activates Widespread Ruin, and it does nothing. Like, the trap does nothing whatsoever because DM cannot be destroyed. And like, it's a massive plus. So like, for any like playing into Widespread Ruin, like you can make the opponent waste the trap if they don't know any better. It's very, very good. And it also helps get around the big fusion monsters that are like, or the big monsters that just get up to like 3,000 attack. Secret Order is really good for helping us beat over them. Then you have one copy of Thousand Knives, limit one card. It is really good monster removal, especially considering the fact that the top decks, they use big fusions, and if they stay on the field, they can become quite the problem. They can become very problematic. So Thousand Knives, good way to remove them, and sometimes it's just what you need to win the game. Sometimes one monster removal is all you need. Very good stuff. And we have 3 copies of Monster Calling. So this is pretty much Mystic Dealer, but with the additional bonus of being able to special summon DM, because DM has 2100 defense. Special summon it from the graveyard to face up to your field. So if you have DM in hand, you got Monster Calling. You could use Monster Calling, send DM to the graveyard, draw a card, and then special summon DM to the field. Very, very good effect. You would only really use this if you're running a big deck like I am, 40 cards. It's very good. It's very good for a big deck like that. Plus, sometimes if you've got too many monsters in your hand, you need to get rid of them to draw cards. So you can just use Monster Calling, send a monster, and draw. Good stuff. 3 copies of Talismanic Seal Array. Very good effect for reducing the attack of your opponent's monsters by its level times 200. Very, very good stuff, though. It does require 4 monsters that you need to shuffle from your graveyard into the deck. Very, very powerful. Very good stuff. I run 3 copies because 40 card deck. I need every single advantage I've got, and this helps a lot. Then we have the best spell trap removal in Rush Duel at the moment, Dark Magic Attack. Activate it and just watch all of your opponent's back row get immediately wiped. Very, very good. No other deck has access to spell trap removal like this. It is insane. It is good. There's a lot of people that are sleeping on this because, I mean, it's DM. DM isn't really that powerful, but I've had my fair share of opponents that have, I've activated Dark Magic Attack, it's resolved, and then the opponent has Rage Quit over all 3 spells and traps being removed. It's very, very good, and it's our best removal that we've got. It's the only removal I'd use, and it's always max it out 3. Always run 3. Legend Trap of Choice is compulsory evacuation device. Very powerful, especially against fusions. If your opponent fusion summons a monster, because they're going to always use at least 3 cards, whether it be fusion or polymerization, and then they use at least 2 monsters, they summon that monster to the field, and you just go compulsory evacuation device, bounce it back. They have just wasted a fusion, they've wasted 3 cards, and now they have to invest even more cards to get that fusion back out, which is crazy. I'd argue that this is the trap of choice that you have to run this meta. Widespread Ruin is still good against high attack monsters because sometimes they can't protect themselves from destruction. But compulsory evacuation device just removes threats immediately without having to fear potential destruction protection. Then we have 1 copy of Buffered Slime. Buffered Slime is the ideal trap. Everyone uses it when opponents level 8 or lower monster declares an attack. Send top card of your deck to graveyard. You take no battle damage for the rest of the turn. If your life points are 3000 or higher, though, you take 2000 damage. The only deck you do not want to use this against, the only monster you don't actually want to use this against, is Elemental Hero Flame Wingman. Because Flame Wingman deals effect damage, not battle damage. If you use Buffered Slime against Flame Wingman, you will still get dealt that effect damage. So, if you are on 2000 life points, you activate Buffered Slime, and Flame Wingman manages to attack into a 2000 attack monster and destroy it, you're gonna get burnt to death by the effect. So just be very careful. But yeah, this is still a very good card against a lot of other decks. Very, very good. And then finally, we have 3 copies of Card Restoration. Good battle trap that can work against any deck. Make sure you empty your hand, set this card, then when your opponent attacks, activate it, draw until you have 5, and then you gain life points equal to the number of monsters in your hand times 200, and then when your next turn comes around, you'll have another card, you'll draw an extra card for your turn. So you'll end up having 6 cards by the time it's your next turn. Very, very good trap. Plus, the life point gain is really good. And yeah, that is it for the Rush deck. A bit of a shorter profile, even though I did some rambling. So, the meta is I wasn't a very big fan of it because with King of Games, this is all I would see. 7's Road Magician, 7's Road Witch, 7's Paladin, Swordsman of Roadstar, 7's Road Charmy Witch, Master of the 7's Road, Magical Stream, and then they use Executing Writing, Strange Cat, Strange Witch, 7's Road Ultimate Witch, Ghost Cyclone, 7's Road Sorcerer, Mr. Alchemy, Magician's Valkyria. Safe to say that 7's Road is very, very good. Because their skill is insanely broken. Because all they need to do is reveal 7's Road Magician, 7's Road Witch, or Swordsman of Roadstar in their hand. As long as all the effect monsters in their deck are Spellcaster type. Then they can just add up to 2 7's Road Magician, 7's Road Witch, or 7's Road Witch, sorry. Excuse me, that was my phone, sorry. Swordsman of Roadstar and or Fusion from your deck or graveyard to your hand. And then if you added 2 cards by your hand, you got to send 1 card from your hand and field to graveyard. But they can just keep setting up their Fusion plays like crazy. And then you've got Light Galaxy, which has got a very good skill. Just send up to 2 light level 7 attribute monsters and or Fusion from your hand to graveyard. Then draw the same number of cards. And if you send a specific card to the graveyard, you can add a card from outside of your deck to your hand. Very, very good stuff. And then you got the Dark Galaxy version. Yeah, Dark Galaxy version. If you send Voivod Requiem, so a specific monster, to the graveyard by this effect, you get to send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard, which that's still very good for Dark Galaxy. These decks are just very, very powerful, and they're just being used constantly. I would always run into Yuga, non-stop, for King Games, and it was very, very irritating to play against. Whoops, if I go back to popularity ranking, look at the card catalog. I think one of the most deadliest monsters I come across that I was facing constantly, Eternal Galactica Oblivion. The amount of attack points this monster can gain is insane. Like, it's a 3500 monster. It is humongous. Like, and even though it requires you to shuffle 5 Galaxy type monsters from your graveyard into the deck, you send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard, can't be destroyed by the opponent's trap card effects, and then this card gains attack equal to the number of monsters in your graveyard times 300. So like if the opponent, if they've got like 12 monsters in the graveyard, that's 3,600 attack points. Eternal Galactica Oblivion turns into a 7,000 attack monster, and that was my phone again, sorry. And then you just got a massive beat stick that the opponent needs to either have negate attack, or like just something that will stop Eternal Galactica Oblivion from dealing lethal. It's nuts, and it's very good. Yeah. So that's that. The meta is very aggressive. Just constantly make big monsters, summon out big monsters, and just continuously attack. And the big decks can run cards like Executing Writing and Rise Terrace Crisis because their decks can just do so much for them and just enable so much. Whereas DM, we don't really get that. All we get is show Spellcaster, grab DM or DMG, and then send a specific kind of Spellcaster to the graveyard. That's all we get. We don't get to just grab multiple cards. We can only get one, and then we got to send one anyway. So yeah, it's nuts. So for anyone playing Rush for June, my advice: try and make an aggressive deck. So like you can get rid of Dark Soul Magician, you can get rid of extra fluff. Like you can make a 30 card version, but play aggressive cards. Secret Order, Thousand Knives, Dark Magic Attack, Talismanic Seal Array. Be as aggressive as possible, because the more aggressive you are against your opponent, the more they have to go on the defensive or like try and recover really hard and like summon big monsters just to try and stop you. But yeah, so the more aggressive you can get, the more you can waste their resources, the quicker and easier you'll be able to destroy the opponent and win the duel. So yeah, that's it for the deck profile and my little analysis on the meta. What are you guys going to be running for Dark Magician? Because I have seen some builds, and they're interesting, like the one build I showed in my deck review. if we have a look at that before ending the video. Because you can get creative with Dark Magician. It is possible. Like this deck here, but that chip Impact made. You know, you can use different cards like Brick Fang Yan Yan, or you can use Seven's Red Sorcerer, right? Rising Light Angel Essel, Rhythmical Performer. You can use Gaia Fusions. Yeah, you can do a whole bunch of things. Do some experimenting. Try and mix and match with some really powerful card engines, or like just some other powerful cards. And let me know what you guys think. See if you guys have an easy time or a hard time. And, you know, one day someone's going to crack the secret sauce that like is going to propel DM upwards. Possibly that will happen when we get new support for Rush. But we'll have to see when that happens. With that being said, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.